Never before in all our history have these forces been so united against one candidate as they stand today. They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
The needs of working families and the middle class, not just the billionaire class. We know what's going on. We are paying attention.
Good morning, everybody. It is, well, it's the media starting again. Look at that. I almost had it right. Good morning. It's another day. Are you awake? Are you? We've got some fun stuff going on. The whole Russian thing happening, it's new stuff. The title card I picked today, this morning, but it's really an old article by David Horsey in the LA Times, a brilliant cartoonist who comes up with these things. Oddly, it fits really well right now. I think that's quite interesting that it works so well. I don't really know. I'll be honest. I don't know what the hell's going on with the Russia stuff. I just know that our government, our corrupt government at the highest level, is uncovering corruption within itself, and it leads to a whole bunch of people because they're all corrupt for the most part. So what we're witnessing is a number of individuals trying to figure out which rats remain on top of the pile while the rest flood. That's really what's happening. And it looks right now, just at the moment, like 45 and some of his key goons are going to be the rats that drown. And that would be great. It just brings new rats to the top. Mike Pence will be top rat, and we'll have to see where that goes. It's not good for the country, but it's not any worse than we're at, honestly, truthfully. Will any of this actually lead to anything? I don't know. Don't really care. Got other things to deal with, got other things to do. It's just kind of funny. Virtuoso was David Horsey's title. I thought that was very perfect. Hey, Metalhead, you're lurking today. Jeffrey Pearson, good morning. Or as you were being all German there, Guten Morgen, meinen Freunde, something like that. And I do have a couple Germans with us here today. We also have Katie, our correspondent from Bordeaux. Bordeaux, right? No, shit. Where are you? God
Not
damn
quite.
it. No, where are you?
The other side.
Where are you?
The other side.
No.
Lorraine.
Say it again.
Lorraine.
Lorraine. Well, whatever. You're in that cool place. You're in that in a very interesting. She's going to update us on France because, not that we were in America were really caring much about France at this point because we got too much crap going on. However, Macron is got some things going on that are could if you put a couple pieces together because of where he sits in power now and what he's doing could change a lot of things there. So we're going to talk about that. But before that, I want to say just hi to some more people. Hey, Kat and Density and Chemo and Bev. And Marka, how are you doing? And Dennis, I know you're here. Hey, Ashley. They make a good quiche. Who makes a good quiche? French people in general, or one of those two places we talked about? Or Katie?
That's, Lorraine. Quiche Lorraine, it's called.
Quiche Lorraine. Oh, right.
It's actually from there.
Forgive my ignorant Americanness. Yes.
There is a B-52 song about it.
Is there?
I like those.
I didn't know. I don't
Quiche
even.
Lorraine.
What shots do I have? Who do I have in shots? Let's see. There's a Dennis. Let's say hi to everybody. Say hi to everybody. All right. So, you know who's here. Here's Katie. Hi, Katie. How are you?
Hello.
Hey, Patricia Hernandez. And here's Dennis. Dennis. Sexy Dennis. Lighting us. Thank you.
Perfect timing.
Yes. Yes. Just everybody. I got to get some music for that.
Oh, good morning, everyone. I lit up my cigarette, so everything's fine. So, yeah.
Nice. Nice. Thank you. And then, of course, the burning German himself, Markus. Morning, Markus.
Good morning, John, and good morning, Katie and Dennis, and good morning, America. And now, as Dennis officially opened the show by lighting a cigarette, I would like to start the show with a lead of a very, with the words of a very wise man, and these words were twittered in 2013, and they are about leadership, and they say, "Whatever happens, you're responsible. If it doesn't happen, you're responsible." And yes,
That's very
Nice.
true.
Nice.
right?
All right, look at this. I can do it. I have one of these rare moments where I can do a show without being on screen. I love it. There we go. Just leave them up.
Yay!
Hey.
Well, thank you all for joining us. Just to get out, we got to talk about We the People and get the events out of the way, and then we'll get into the GOP woes. Isn't it a great thing to say that? GOP has woes. We'll get into that after we listen to Katie tell us what Macron is doing over there in France, and just I'm gonna have a hard time feeling bad for him, because basically he is the governmental daycare parent for Trump. So I really appreciate that, and he's got a softer hand than Merkel. Anyway, so We the People tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific, we are talking with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She is running in New York's 14th against Joe Crowley, who is basically the embodiment of establishment corporate Democrat. He is fourth in line in the Democratic throne. He is, and Markus is all like,
What?
Markus wants to. He's going to wake up at 4 a.m. to join us for this We the People, aren't you, Markus?
I'll be there. You can bet on it, man.
He's very interested to be. He's got a little bit of a crush on Alexandria.
Yes.
It's understandable.
Yeah,
I get it. You got to get your American citizenship. Come on over here, man. I'm sorry. You'd have to start living in New York or something.
Or we'll do it the other way around, and I will try to get Alexandria to Germany.
No. She has to help us in government. You're not pulling that shit. Anyway, so we got her. Interesting to talk to her tonight. And there's some interesting stuff about Joe Crowley we're going to talk about, because the guy, I dig into people when we're going to talk with them and what's going on. And he kickbacks to his relatives through government campaign funds, and it's just a stellar example of corruptness in government. And he's got big union backers, which blows, but we're going to talk to Alexandria about how she's going to beat him anyway. So anyway, join us for that. Next week, Jeff Erdmann will be on, and we're excited to have him on. That's on the 26th. So, all right, covered those things. Katie, what's going on with Macron, and what's going on with Macron? That's going to be your segment.
Yeah.
What's going on at the moment? Yeah. Well, since the last time we spoke, there have been a few things have happened. Obviously, the president has chosen his prime minister, and he chose the government. And okay, one of the characters that I follow on French media, Hugo, it's the second picture, the one we didn't put up. He actually got to spend a day at Matignon, which is the official residence of the Prime Minister. And he followed him around, and okay, I won't go into the detail, but the Prime Minister started off by going over upcoming events with a small team, and then he met a number of ministers, took note of different points that he had to add to a speech on the 4th of July, nothing to do with the US. And in that, he presented the main lines of the new government policy, met the Ukrainian president, and then he answered questions to Hugo. Yeah, Hugo, to him, yeah. And Hugo asked pretty good questions, and it was kind of interesting listening to him answering, but sometimes getting out of. And basically, he said, what is your role as prime minister? Because it really does depend on the president, how much the prime minister is allowed to do. So he said that the prime minister of France said that in most countries you have two leaders. One is more a symbolic leader, one has real power. And from his point of view, President Macron leads the way. He was the one voted in, and under the Fifth Republic, he's the cornerstone of the institutions. That may be a little bit uncomfortable. And that being the case, he does need the prime minister, though, to actually govern. But I'm sure it's tightly controlled between president, prime minister, ministers, and down. Anyway, the average age of the new Congress, if you like, Assemblée Nationale, is 48, and there are a lot of new people in there, 80%. And even though he came from a background of the Républicains, he says that the government are from a very mixed political background, but he said we're a group of people who have certain common aims. Again, something else that made me nervous. And that being the case, he's very comfortable with the setup. And again, he was asked about the ministers and how much independence they have to do whatever. And he said, well, basically, when they were invited in to be interviewed, I suppose you'd say, they discussed their all of their positions, and so they knew where they stood, basically, before they made up the government. Now, he says the ministers think about what they want to do and how. And his role as prime minister is to organize the whole thing and to arbitrate disagreements between the ministers whilst achieving the goals of President Macron. Now, during the day, the president met the Ukrainian president. He discussed Crimea, but then the prime minister met the president of Ukraine afterwards, and they went into detail about economic relations between the two countries. Yes, and then the ministers are there to inform the prime minister what they're doing, the general direction they're going, their priorities. And they have well-versed advisors behind them who basically try out different things, ideas and suggestions that have come up through the hierarchy. Okay. So that's just to explain what the Prime Minister does in France. Now, the big thing that happened was on the, I think it was the 3rd of July, President Macron called the two houses of Parliament, if you like, together. And he gave a speech, and everybody's thinking, oh my gosh, what's he going to talk about? But in fact, he basically said what the Prime Minister was going to say the next day. It was beautifully crafted, lyrical, but he said very little that was all that exciting. He spoke of sovereignty. He hit out at the media for looking for scandals, and there are a number of politicians in his government under investigation. And then he spoke of efficiency, representativity, and responsibility. Now, listening to that, but anyway.
Isn't that standard for governmental conversation? Was there anything in any of these things that was shocking? What's the meat?
Nothing shocking. No, but the thing was, you see, under all of this, under everybody kind of switching off in a way you do when establishment Democrats start talking, there were different things that were different about the way he called them together. Some were okay, some were And France Insoumise, so Mélenchon's crowd, decided they weren't going. And they didn't take the day off. Their supporters protested in the Place de la République, but they worked on amendments that were going to come up, and that they put forward 200 amendments, and 132 were proposed by France Insoumise, so Mélenchon's groups. They are very vocal. They are very, very good speakers, and they're a joy to listen to in Parliament when they put the dots on the I's, as they say here, and spell things out. Anyway, the first day in Parliament, they arrived, France Insoumise, Mélenchon's group, without ties. And it created absolute shockwaves. It was a deliberate choice, and they said the penguins don't represent the mass of the French people.
Hang on, so can I just, so hang on. I just got to get in on this, Katie, for a second. So that's actually a big deal over there?
Well, it was, and the reason that I kind of was smiling when I saw it is that the exact opposite happened in the British Parliament. They said that the MPs and the journalists, male journalists and all, do not have to bother with ties anymore if they don't want to. And there you have this big issue with the media. Of course, you know, the stupid issues. They're not talking about the important stuff. Right. Talking about, oh, he had a tie, he didn't stand up, he didn't clap. Who cares? But well. That's what they said. Anyway,
sounds a lot like Russia over here. Not a lot of so where.
Oh yeah, nothing important.
Right, nothing. So when we were talking before, you were talking about some serious things that Macron was doing within the government that were scary. So what are those serious things? Can we talk about those specifically?
Yeah, sure. He is allowed to propose that for a particular issue, in this case it's workers' rights, which is a pretty major issue. It used to be little things they'd ask them. his government would be entitled to, I suppose, create new laws, but they can't pass them without a vote, I think in September, to speed up changes and get on with the work. Except that he has a majority, and the real reason is he wants this through before people realize what's happening, and he doesn't want any debate on it. Now, fortunately, some of the left, they kicked up, and now they're basically getting together everywhere to try and stop this, because it concerns the length, I suppose, of the workday, night shifts, whether you're represented in the same way if there's an issue with the boss, if you're kicked out, fired for no reason. Normally you were protected in France, you could sue, and you'd still be able to do that, but you'll get a lesser amount, etc., etc. So basically,
are these things that have been proposed in these 130 amendments? Are these things that are on the way to being changed because of Macron's people in power, or are these suggestions that might happen?
No, these are going to happen because he will have his majority, and unless, as in America, some of the deputies, the congressmen, if you like, feel very uncomfortable about it, they will vote it through. And it means that workers all over will have far less protections. Now, they are going to demonstrate in mass, but I don't know, it's like in America, sometimes that has an effect, sometimes it doesn't. But they are absolutely, what would you say, powering ahead? Racing ahead with all this. And in the meantime, Macron is distracted with the issues with the parade and the 14th of July and chatting with Trump.
He's using Trump as a distraction while he does things in his country, which is interesting.
Exactly.
America's using Trump as a distraction while the rest of the government does a whole bunch of things. Funny how that's working for Macron as well.
I think he learned the lesson from the States. But
they're
anyway,
both good actors. They play roles together,
They do. And like I said, he did act as a young man, and he was very good at it, apparently. Macron, we're talking about.
Really? Macron was an actor?
Yeah.
Seriously?
He did acting classes in college or whatever as well. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Anyway, so
Jay really could be James Bond.
So,
really?
Yeah, and then on top of that, on the first day in Parliament, there were arguments over the allocation of certain duty, and in Democratic Party style, rules got changed at the last minute, and by en masse to ensure that they and their centrist allies, Modem, got all 6 positions of vice president of the government or whatever it is, and there was another position that should rightfully have gone to the biggest opposition group, that's Les Républicains, and they took that as well. So much for pluralism. Anyway, the left they're a small number, but they're very vocal, and they basically have decided that En Marche is made up of 2 groups. One that know exactly what they're doing, that have no interest in protecting workers or anybody else, and that are just going on with their thing whilst lying through their teeth, and another group who have been taken in by it but don't really realize what's going on.
Right, that sounds familiar.
And in spelling it out, they're hoping that they're going to appeal to these guys, and men and women, and convince them to, I don't know if you'd say change side, but wake up.
Right. I'm just showing your other French guy because we loaded him up. So this is just another French guy. It's Katie's visual aid, everybody.
I can't remember his name offhand. It's Antoine, so Anthony, but I can't remember his surname offhand. He's very, very good. He's part of France Insoumise, and he started up a sort of a weekly news program to say what's going on in government, which was hugely helpful.
That's wonderful.
Because he's smart and he's well able to analyze and see things coming.
Well, he's very French looking, so he worked well for the thing. So you've got 30 seconds. Summarize what this means for Americans, because this is an American show. We just use you guys for ratings. Summarize what this means for Americans about what's going on with Macron and over there, because you guys were talking. It's funny. I know you're watching chat because you're talking, Kate, but I forget who was mentioned that he's been wooing world scientists and American scientists, come on over and work for us. But it sounds like
they're
I'm going to say two things.
aggressively
One,
trying to talk things in.
Right, so they're trying to bring them over. One, it sounds like they're going to change their labor laws to be not as great as they were, which may be a warning. But I will say this, compared to America, still a major step up. So it'd have to fall a lot, really. But anyway, summarize. 30 seconds. What's the warning here? What's the bottom line?
Well, the bottom line is, in the end of the day, even if they're a step behind, it's still the same kind of thing. It's still establishment business. It's still trying to get all the banks to come to Paris when they leave London after Brexit. Okay. But they're going to Frankfurt, to Luxembourg, to Dublin instead, mostly. It's still trying to organize the CETA, which, by the way, Trudeau and Juncker have decided is going to take effect on September 21st. You know, just decided at the G20.
What's going to happen on the 21st? What's this?
Is it the Canadian what do you call those treaties, the free trade agreement? Now they did have to change something that you have. I think now you can see a judge rather than these lawyers from the companies. But basically, they're very, very unpopular here as well, but we're not being given the option. The G20, we're discussing all that, etc.
Okay. All right. All right.
And similar issues, environment and everything else. We're a step behind, but it's all going in the same direction. They just have to clear away more regulations in Europe.
Interesting. All right. So you think it's really a beginning of a right push in laws, and everybody was wooed by a Macron, and he was kind of like an Obama or a Clinton, right? We're coming in, but we're really going to do some more corporate-y shit, right?
Yeah, very corporate. And there was a thing too, in the Prime Minister, there's a whole load of cuts coming in, and depending on who you listen to, 60 or 80 billion he's going to cut in the next 5 years.
Wow.
And 11 billion of that has to do with taxes. 3 billion go back to Joe Soap, as we'd say, so everybody. And 3 billion more go to the 3,000 wealthiest families in France.
Well, of course, because they need it, Katie.
Yeah, they need it desperately.
Right. For Jilly Love said, "Let the French guy speak, for fuck's sake." So, for ratings, let's listen to French guy. It may make me do an ad first. Come on, play. I'm just trying to get it to play. Come on, French guy.
Vers lequel tout ça nous amène. Votre politique, dans la droite ligne de celle menée depuis plus de 15 ans, quelles que soient les étiquettes de celles et ceux qui les ont appliquées, n'a qu'un intérêt véritable. Accroître la ponction que les actionnaires réalisent sur le travail en obligeant les salariés à accepter des baisses de...
That's not even the same French guy. Hey, hang on.
No, he's a deputy, a congressman.
Well, does it still work? Here.
Sur la question du contrat de travail, sur la question du travail de nuit, sur la question de la pénibilité, sur la question des instances représentatives du personnel, sur la question du travail détaché, sur la question du plafonnement des indemnités prud'homales. Les indemnités prud'homales, c'est-à-dire...
Oh yeah, that's so good.
You see, I have
There we
a
go.
much shorter version, John.
There we go. I don't even know what he just... Fuck this, fuck that. I have no idea what he was saying. But it was a great list.
All of the things that they're going to attack, basically.
There you go. You got that in the list. No, the cute guy, Julie Love says. I don't know which one was the cute guy, Julie Love. If you really want to, dictate, get involved, come in the Slack and help us pick the cute French guys for Katie to talk about in the next international discussion of France and their policies. Because that's really all she needed was that, a couple cute guys. We spent what I told her would be a 5-minute segment, took 20 minutes, right? So there we go. Thank you, Katie. I really appreciate the update on all that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It just goes to show you, everybody, as much as we work on our democracy here, everybody else has got to keep working on their democracy, or it's going to go back to corporations. That's really what we battle here, right? One moment. We're having computer issues.
No.
Beth, we need to send him some sexy T-shirts.
Who? Nobody needs to be wearing.
French guy.
Do you really think he wants to get involved with this as a?
No, I am just reading the comment in the chat, so I have to say.
Well, this is going to be difficult to move on into the next subjects because all of my media is basically frozen right now. See, what am I going to do without visual aids? Jeez. Actually, well, what we're going to talk about is the Republican collapse, which is happening. If I get it to show more than just white pages up here. You all know what's going on with the GOP healthcare bill. Little bitch McConnell having some serious issues getting it to pass, and then he tried something else that was dumb, and that didn't work. It is so fitting that 3 female GOP senators put the kibosh on his bullshit bill, because he didn't allow any female anybody to be involved in the decision-making on the healthcare bill, which is kind of odd, but not for Mitch, right? By the way, Steve Collins, volunteer and longtime watcher of the program, is traveling from wherever the hell he lived at first, which I don't remember. Right now, he's through Kentucky, but he was in Kentucky yesterday, and he's on his way to here to live somewhere around here and help out around here. So that'll be interesting and fun.
Wow.
Excited for that, yeah. Laura Livengood will be coming up here August-ish, somewhere around that week of the eclipse, and we're going to be doing an eclipse, sun, moon, the eclipse of democracy, the rise of the people, something like that. I don't know what to call it yet. We're going to do a streamathon. Markus and Katie and everybody's helping us build a nice playlist. We're going to do a lot of music related to the thing and just have a fun VJ knowledge news streamathon. We'll play some Bernie if you've got some suggestions for good clips from past times or new people that have done things. And we'll try to dig up some old DJs from the past like Casey Kasem, and I don't know. You guys, I love old DJs. I wish... I say it again. If I had been my age now in the 70s, I'd been a yacht rock DJ somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Ignorant of everything going on around the world, and would have died earlier and would have been fine. Anyway, Chattanooga, Jeffrey Pearson? Chattanooga. What about Chattanooga? Oh, is where Steve Collins was from originally. Okay, probably. Good. Okay. So the GOP is worried about their political future. They mentioned that today. I think that's really funny. They're not concerned about the people. They're not concerned about, any. It's just their political futures is what they're concerned about, which should tell you a lot, right? Yep. They're not concerned about what legislation is or isn't passing. They're just concerned about their political futures. Any politician,
which is very important.
It is. If unless that's all you give a fuck about, which is what we're learning with our guys. The Daily Beast. Well, let's see, not the Daily Beast. What is it? The Daily Beast is the one that released that nice Russian thing that's going on right now, which is hitting people. The healthcare bill is dead, very dead. I don't know what they could replace it with, but the truth of the matter is that 7.5 years of doing nothing but obstructing what could have been progress on a shitty start to a healthcare bill for all, that could have been a good start to a healthcare bill for all, except they initially eviscerated it to make sure that insurance companies still got their profit, to make sure that everybody was still getting their greed. And now they have got nothing to show for it. They've found out that you can't just hand the American people a pile of garbage, add some more garbage to that, and then try to shove it down their throats and sell it as something. It's not even working for the dumbest of Americans we got out there, the most ignorant of us that really doesn't understand what's going on. I include myself among the ignorant in terms of how things should be working with all these agencies, healthcare and stuff. I just know that in other countries, when they need healthcare, they go get it. They have it. Their government pays for it because their government is an extension of them. So if they want their government to do that, then it happens. We don't have that. The GOP has collapsed on its own obstruction. It has no new ideas. It has no plan. Its goal was just to rob us of more of our lives. And we're stopping that. We've stopped that. It doesn't mean we don't get to keep working. We have to keep working on it. They're going to keep trying, and we're going to have to keep stopping. But we stopped them. Think about what just happened. The Republican-controlled Congress, the Republican-controlled House, the Republican-controlled executive branch, and pretty much the Republican-controlled judicial branch failed to pass their death care bill. With a weak, broken, split Democratic Party, independents, Greens, whatever, we, the people, rose up and said, oh, no, you fucking don't. And they didn't. That's evidence, proof right there that we will be taking back our fucking government. That we're doing it right now. It's badass. It's fucking badass. And I am so proud of us for doing this, because a year ago we were whining about Bernie's loss and wondering what the fuck we were going to do next. And we picked ourselves up and we let the butthurt flow and we got back on our feet. It's amazing. It's, if only Republicans could notice that we just picked ourselves up by our bootstraps, said fuck you, and got back to work. What they always wanted. Except we're coming after them. We're coming after them. It's amazing. It's wonderful to see. I'm proud of everybody who's worked to get it done. And we've got a long way to go. Perfect song pick for the end, by the way, Markus.
Yeah, thank you.
So just know that the Republicans are concerned about how things look for them. 2018 shouldn't go very well if we keep the pressure on. Seriously, you know. Schulte 100, thank you, Julie. I'd like to contribute somehow to John's. Oh, thank you very much, Schulte. I know we got you a link somewhere in there. There's lots of different ways. You can also contribute to a candidate and let us know. That counts. I'm good with that. You heard Trump. The other thing going down is Trump has completely separated himself and his gang from whatever is left of the GOP that's holding on to something. And the GOP is just fractured into a bunch of groups of people trying to figure out who they're going to get money from, whether they're going to stay in office, who they need to show their loyalty to at this point. Right? You have a president of the United States that said, let Obamacare fail. Right? Which proves to you they have no interest in actually providing anything for us. And what's great is that a lot of Trump supporters are figuring this out very slowly. I was talking to a few friends, neighbor, Dave, in Maryland, and she's got family. They've all got family, rural family that's voted for Trump and can't believe they're liberals. Right? My family's more liberal and can't believe my brother voted for Trump. Right? But we haven't heard a word from Matt in a while. While back when I was like, God damn it, I'm going to have to go meet him. Fucking now I'm just laughing. I'm just going to laugh. I'm going to see my brother. How do you feel about that vote, bro? Yeah? You got some big proud to say? What is it? Show me that list of accomplishments. Tell me what he's been doing to make America great again. I'm not worried. Most of his friends are already pissed off. We're winning. Revolution's going well. It's going fast. Doesn't mean we're not going to be hit with hardships more, and there's going to be a lot more tragedy. There's more cop stories. Still not talking about those, but there's more if you want to look them up. More abuse, more. I will say this, a little factoid hit me this morning at 4 o'clock when I was looking at Twitter because I couldn't sleep. The cop that shot Eric Garner is making 6 figures and still on the job.
Fuck.
6 figures. 6 figures. Really?
Insane.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Scott Galindez wants to remind you, though, that we have more to do. They will continue to pay. There's a link in here to Scott's article. He's got a link to Bernie Sanders on healthcare. It's an excerpt from the. We're not going to play it here, but it's an excerpt from the big event we did with Iowa CCI. And if you could please share the reader-supported news link and help Scott out and make sure that you take care of reader-supported news, right? They do a lot of good work. Scott does a lot of work. That's the reason we're able to bring you Bernie is because reader-supported news pays Scott, and Scott gets to go to these events. And if I didn't have Scott going to these events, we would not have Bernie Sanders. We would not have a lot of the things we get. So they're kind of our silent partner there, and we need to help them out. So,
thank you, Schulze.
Oh, thank you, Schultz. That's badass. Right. I forgot about the super chat thing. It works, and Google and I are fighting over this whole thing, but we are getting bank account stuff squared away, and I will be getting all of those payments from months back that I didn't know that I had, and I will be looking at getting a encoder so that we can do full-day events without having issue. Yay. We'll just keep on going. The little volunteer media network that could or did anyway when it maybe shouldn't. That probably I should say. The best news. The best news. Since this article right here is why I'm so enthusiastic today as opposed to pessimistic, because, you know, Markus never knows. Comes into Hangouts. All right, what kind of a mood is John in? Is he angry? Is he throwing things around?
I know that.
Yeah, Dennis knows. Dennis jumps in right as I drop the link, and I'm like, I didn't want anybody to come in. I know I dropped the link, but I didn't want you here already. I'm in a pissy mood. I need time to grumble. Anyway.
Yeah, most of the time I let you grumble, and in the meantime, I'm watching other clips and so on. So therefore, it's totally fine.
There you go. He knows. They know. They know. I'm a grumpy old man, temperamental old man. Can't wait till I get actually old, right? That ought to be fun for everybody. This article, this article. I'm just going to look at the clips. Basically, they're saying the Democratic Party, the ghost ship that is the Democratic Party, is it's
ready to enter.
Yes, here. So obviously my little computer's having problems. Sorry, it's going really slow today. I need to do some maintenance on my media machine. Here's the article from the Inquisitor that's going to make you very happy. This week, the Democratic Party's biggest donor, California hedge fund billionaire Tom Steyer, gave a rousing endorsement of Bernie's platform. Steyer, I'm going to go with Steyer, actually, supported Hillary Clinton during the 2016 presidential election and gave close to $90 million to Democratic candidates and causes last year, but this year appears to be throwing all of his support behind Bernie Sanders' vision for the future. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of elected progressive Democrats. In an interview with Mike, Steyer said, echoed the famous Bernie Sanders stump speech that drew record crowds throughout the 2026 primary. I think they got a typo in there. There is an absolute unspoken war between corporate interests and the American people. That's the underlying subtext for all of the public discussions within the Democratic Party. Right? We're going to talk about that in a minute. We're seeing a deliberate attempt to take away working families' future by really rich people. This is from a really rich person. All right?
Exactly.
A really rich person who gave $90 million to the Clinton party. Basically, it says there's a lot of other really rich people that are even worse than me. I'm not saying this guy's a bad guy, but there's rich people that are assholes. This is a rich person that sees that and is willing to spend millions of his rich person money to stop that. I got to thank this rich person. Although I got you know.
John, the question I have in my mind at the moment when I'm hearing that is, do that guy really means it from the heart, or is it some show up to calm down the progressive movement?
I don't know. We'll find
out. My suspicion would be anyone who puts $90 million into a candidate or a party has demands. And maybe he has something to say, like, you can do everything, Bernie, like this, and this, but don't do this. If you do this, you won't get no money.
We'll see.
And I think we should be very, very careful about those, because this is exactly what we didn't want to happen. To be dependent from money from a super rich, a single person or corporation. And I think we should be very, very careful about this.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. There's more, though. There's more. This is from New York Times columnist Susie Kim. Noted that the idea of single-payer health care, seen as a fringe idea even a few months ago, now has considerable traction among everyone from the average voter to top congressional Democrats. That includes Al Gore, who said that's the way he thinks it should go. I didn't know Al Gore was relevant again, but probably because of climate, huh? Single payer is now poised to become the standard position for the Democratic base. Just listen to that. It's going to be it is the standard position. More elected Democrats are following suit as Republicans struggle to get their deeply unpopular health care bill past Congress. It's dead. They will have to work with Democrats. They have no fucking choice. All right? So we're going to be pushing single payer. And the thing is that there are Republicans that recognize that single payer makes sense. The only people it doesn't make sense to is greedy insurance companies. They're going to lose. Aw. Make a choice, America. Dead people, dead insurance company. I'm all over dead insurance companies. I want to see them scattered, dead, and bloody all over everywhere. You know why? Because they're not fucking alive. So let's kill them. Let's kill them. Don't care about the company. And Greg McKinsey, if you're out there talking to me about nonprofits, how about we don't even have a designation called nonprofit? How about we just make a law that says that's what your business gets to be? You want to be in business? There's only one kind of business called a nonprofit, where your money goes back into the business to make your business better, to make your employees better, to make everything better for everybody. And you can have a wage, but we're going to set a cap on that, CEO. You can go, let's see, the Standard Ethics Office of Businessy Suit and Ties, there's some group that does this, says that 25 times your lowest employee's wage would be reasonable for a CEO. So let's go double that and say you get 50, not 450, 50. You're still a rich motherfucker, but you're not controlling the goddamn world. How about that? And other people can live off the wages you pay, and we're not raping the environment, because to be a real business today in the 21st century means you have to invest an awful lot into your infrastructure so that you're not fucking the environment too. Those are the laws I want to put into place. That's it. Anyway, just go on. Single payer.
And if you, and I was checking the last parts of the article, and I don't know who wrote it, but outlining that Bernie, that there was a lot of mistrust against Bernie because he was no Democrat but an independent, but saying recently he made efforts to become more a Democrat by joining Tom Perez with the Unity Tour. This is complete bullshit. I don't know who wrote this.
Well,
this is crap.
But he did make effort to do that. It's not bullshit. He made an effort and then he walked away from that effort when he was like, yeah, that's not working.
But they didn't write it.
But everybody knows, and he's the most popular senator in the United States. I mean, you've seen that
he
statistic. He's the most popular senator in the United States. And do you think that's with just like non-Democrats? I mean, that's Mike.
No, I think the article is a piece of propaganda in favor of this billionaire who is. I'm wondering, maybe I'm doing him not right, because it is only said he supported Hillary in the presidential election. We don't know what he did during the primaries, or if it includes the primaries.
Of course, it includes the primaries. It's $90 million that he dished out to candidates he liked. That's what he's doing.
Then I have to ask this guy, how does it come that he suddenly changed completely his mind, because Bernie stood against nearly everything Hillary Clinton stood for, and how could he support Hillary Clinton in 2016 and not Bernie right from the beginning?
I don't know.
Right?
I don't know. Maybe he saw the light too. I mean, what, Dennis?
Yeah.
What, Dennis?
I can say why. Because a house in the Hamptons, it's not really a defensible property, so he's afraid that he will lose a lot of money if he don't start to support progressive
to get
policies.
Yes.
So that when the progressive, I think next election or after that election, the progressive will take over the country, and he's afraid that he has to pay a lot more than he's paying at the moment. So therefore, he's changing his position, because the rich people in America, seeing what's happening around the country. The people are waking up, they're organized and so on. And they see that their bullshit they are talking all the time on MSN and so on is not working anymore. So therefore, they're starting to move a little bit to the progressives to say, hey, we are full for your positions, but when we are alone in our dark rooms, we are talking about other stuff. So therefore, I think this is something so mixed up. So it's really, not really honest in my eyes. The whole
Okay,
thing.
but and it may not be. But if he's recognizing the pressure, then great. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I just need him to recognize the pressure and come that direction. Katie?
I agree.
Yeah, no, I think Dennis is probably right. When you see that things are going in a very different direction, even if you don't agree with the direction they're going, if you've got the money, you want to protect it. And then you start thinking, hey, I've got to get in with these guys.
Yeah,
you change the ship.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. That's if you think about it, that mentality is why the GOP has been so successful. Really, everybody's included. Come on, get on board this ship. Going to make everybody happy, although they really don't. We're talking about a rich guy who's going to invest a lot of money into Bernie Sanders type people, supposedly. Tom Steyer. Yeah, exactly. We don't know if that's true, and we don't know why he wants to do it. He just says he's gonna. And when somebody says they want to invest $90 million or so, or whatever they're going to do this time around in Bernie Sanders' platform, we're assuming that's going to mean in candidates that are pushing the Bernie Sanders agenda. We'll have to wait and see, right? And then we still have to wait and see all these people that come in and say that they're going to do the Bernie Sanders agenda to actually do the Bernie Sanders agenda, right?
Okay. I just see a comment here in chat by PNP Railroad. He or she says, I've known Tom Steyer for years. He's big on renewable energy and climate too. And I again has to ask then the question, why did he support Hillary Clinton?
Good question. Good question. Well, maybe, but there's look. There's a lot of people that supported Hillary Clinton. I'm not going to go there. If you're going just on the vote for Hillary Clinton, then whatever. I mean, it's a moot point. Actually, is what I'm trying to say. Let's take it for what it is, Marcus. It's a good thing. Yeah. Leave him alone, why don't you? Jeez, he hasn't even invested any fucking money yet. He just said he's gonna. He's gonna watch you. He's gonna go fucking Germans. No, might change my mind. God damn it, fuck you.
I say be careful.
Well, I say let him invest some money and be nice for a fucking change. We don't have anybody giving us money. Just scare him away with your freaking interrogations. Jeez.
Bernie already proved how to do this.
Anyway, look, we could use the help. We need good millionaires and billionaires. If there's a few out there, we need them. We need them. Where are you? I believe you're out there. We're moving on to ground game, by the way. And ground game is exciting because there's a lot of stuff going on around me, my ground game, and I want to talk a little bit about that. But the first thing I want to bring up is something that you guys can do to get involved in your ground game, but online. Because it's a really cool service. I don't know if you guys have seen this before. It's Nextdoor. You guys heard of this place? Nextdoor.com. And what you can do on Nextdoor, I mean, it basically connects you with your neighborhood. And, you sign in, put in some information in, and it connects you with a map of your neighborhood. Mine's the Riverside neighborhood. And, I guess that's updates. I was going to show you the map with it, but the thing's moving so slow today. The cool thing about Nextdoor, like, there's a person here who was looking for, basically this is a way for us to stay in touch with each other. I've talked about this before, a long time ago when I lived in Milwaukee. We talked about this, how our neighbors, we were able to connect with our neighbors. We got kittens from one neighbor. That's where Con and Dobby came from, was somebody on Nextdoor saying they had kittens. Finding somebody who'd lost an animal, helping them find that, right? Free hay. Just people giving away stuff, or just connecting for safety, letting people know what's going on. Hey, there was an ambulance down the road. Yeah, Mrs. Smith was having a problem, blah, blah. This is the modern version of community getting together and, walking out onto your street and having a block party or whatever. And there was we've been talking about having bees on the property. I just haven't had time to deal with it. And there's a person who's like, hey, I'm looking for anybody around this area that I can drop a few beehives at and have them be there. And I'm like, that's us. We'll take the bees. Right? But it's a great way for you guys to know who your neighbors are and just have general conversations around stuff and get to know them at least enough so that in the case of an emergency or a giant Trump militia takeover or aliens, which has actually a story with Congress today, believe it or not, that you know your neighbors and you can get together and you can help each other. This is a great way to do it. So I just wanted to point that out. It's really easy to do, really cool. I like the service. Now we're going to watch Bernie congratulate us on our hard work, because we need that. Sometimes we just need that. Right? Here we go.
I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the millions of Americans who stood up and fought back against the disastrous Republican health care bill, which, as we learned late last night, does not have the votes to go forward. From coast to coast, people attended rallies, town halls, and demonstrations. They sent emails. They were active on social media. They wrote letters to the editor. They made countless numbers of phone calls to their senators and their House members. They made it clear to everyone in this country that we will not throw millions of Americans off of the health care they currently have in order to give huge tax breaks to the wealthy and large corporations. And against extremely difficult odds, with Republicans controlling the U.S. House, the U.S. Senate, and the White House, we were able to prevail in stopping this bill. This is no small accomplishment. To my mind, this legislation was the most dangerous bill ever brought to the Senate floor in the modern history of our nation. This legislation would have thrown 22 million Americans off of the health care they currently have. It would have cut Medicaid by some $800 billion. It would have substantially raised premiums for older workers. It would have defunded Planned Parenthood and denied 2.5 million women the opportunity to get the health care that they wanted. Further, it would have made it almost impossible for millions of Americans with pre-existing conditions to get the affordable health care they desperately need. What our efforts in this fight show from coast to coast is that when we stand together, when we are prepared to fight back, there is nothing that we cannot accomplish. But defeating a terrible piece of legislation is obviously not our ultimate goal. Our goal is to have the United States of America join every other major country on earth in guaranteeing health care to all as a right, not a privilege. Our goal is to end the absurdity of Americans being forced to pay by far the highest cost per capita for health care than any other nation on this planet. Our goal is to make sure that when people get sick, they don't have to worry about going bankrupt. Our goal is to make sure that people do the work they want and not be forced to stay on their jobs simply because they have decent health insurance. Fighting for a Medicare for All single-payer program is not going to be an easy struggle. Trust me, it will not be. In fact, it will be an unprecedented struggle in the modern history of our country. We will be taking on not only the insurance companies, not only the drug companies, but much of the economic and political establishment as well, and we can expect hostility from the corporate media. But this is a struggle we must engage, not just for ourselves, but for our children and our grandchildren. It is a struggle that will define who we are as a people. It is a struggle that will define us as a nation that believes in economic and social justice and equality. In the coming weeks and months, I look forward to working with all of you as we develop a national movement that takes us forward, that takes us to a healthcare system that guarantees every man, woman, and child in this country the health care that they need, that takes us forward to a Medicare for All single-payer program. Thank you very much.
Oh, I needed that. Thank you, Bernie.
Hello.
Thank you, Bernie. How presidential. What a leader. That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. Yeah. He's right, though. We have more to face than just insurance companies. We have the drug companies. We have most of the political establishment. Right. That's why when somebody wants to give us $90 million, I'm like, please. Anyway. And he's for single payer. The ghost ship is ready. Yes, Katie.
John, just I was thinking about that 90 million. So long as he's not going to invest in people who profess to be progressive Democrats and then turn once they're in.
Well, that's up. I know we don't know where that's going to go. That's what we've seen, right? We already see the establishment picking their candidates that are going to try to come off as progressives or centrists, and we're going to have to pick the leftist. We don't want the centrist. A centrist Democrat is a Republican. There's no such thing as just a standard Democrat as a Republican, because everything's been shifted so far fucking to the right. It's ridiculous. You know? If you look at France, I don't know. If you look at not France anymore, you look at Germany right now, which even Markus, I think, would consider to be leaning right. You know, Merkel is not let's say not leaning right, but you've indicated there's more conservative aspects to Merkel and her choices, right? Because she's
of course she is the leader of the Conservative Party, and
right.
And both wings, the CDU, the Conservatives, and the CSU, which is based in Bavaria, they are in part of them. They are very conservative, and of course she is no lefty. It may appear for you guys in USA that she is a lefty.
Yes,
but indeed she is not. Because you see that she seems to be left shows only what John said earlier. How far you guys went to the right side.
Same with Macron. That's same with, because this is what's fascinating about it. Like, where Germany sits today is is more to the center than the United States. Where France sits today is more to the center. Whether they personally, you know, Katie and Markus are like, no, France is over here and Germany's over here. But overall, relatively, the United States is way the fuck over here in fucking terrorist oligarchy.
But
and,
look, I'm sorry, Dennis. Look, do you know what the irony about it is? That Merkel managed to move the very, very conservative CDU and CSU more to the left. They are still conservatives, but she managed over the years that this party moved more and more to the left, and it had a purpose, because this weakens the Social Democrats, the real lefties. They are not indeed, of course. But this shows it is completely different to what's going on in America, where everything is moved right over the decades.
Interesting.
Sorry, Dennis, I interrupted you.
John,
no, that's a good point. Dennis,
John,
yes.
For you guys, what you see Bernie as a super leftist, socialist, and so on, would be seen here in Europe a centrist.
Bernie would be a centrist.
This is why I always.
I mean with it?
Center left at worst.
Yeah, okay, but
But Dennis is absolutely right, and you remember, John, maybe you wrote it in chat. I always said when Bernie showed up in 2015 that he would consider it from a German perspective that he is more a centrist than a left-wing guy.
Yeah.
Apart from his plans for Wall Street, I exclude this, and this is why I like him.
I don't know about that. All right. Moving off the. Interesting. Let's
move on.
The message there is total perspective on where we are, and it's amazing to think about that, because I really do consider Merkel to be liberal, and she's not. And that's, you know what I mean? I'm like, but it would be so great to have somebody with common sense who thinks like that and actually gives a fuck about people. And you're like, well, but we could have way more, you know, or Macron. Macron is, for all intents and purposes, he's Hillary Clinton. But the thing is that France is farther along in social development, so that you can put a Hillary Clinton in power and it doesn't look so bad until he does things, which he's on the way to doing, which is why we had Katie talk about it.
Yeah. But you know, you don't have to forget, because this is why I was very disappointed, and it was that Macron broke his first major promise he gave to the people who voted for him. He said that if he would become president, that he would take care that there would be a financial transaction tax on stocks, and in order to wait what happens with the UK and the Brexit, he's trying, as Katie earlier said, he's indeed trying to get those banks from the UK over to Paris. And of course, no bank would be interested to come to France with a transaction tax on their products, you know. And this is why I am very disappointed about Macron. You know.
All right.
Yeah, and John, two quick things. He said originally that he was going to look into taking care of schools and investing in education. 331 million euro, they're getting less, universities. And this year there were already 87,000 school leavers with no place in university to go to, and the numbers are going up.
Wow.
And the other thing was defense cuts. He's cutting the 850 billion from defense, except that doesn't make sense, because that means he'll have to go up 18 billion to meet what he's promised NATO in the next 5 years. So none of it makes sense.
Weird. Well, okay. All right. So we got some centrist things going on. Still, you guys are better off than we are here, and I'm just gonna leave it at that.
True.
You guys, Mark Hill, Bernie is centrist, but that's the USA doing. And okay, wait a minute.
No, I disagree here.
Hang on. Bernie is not centrist at all. Bernie, I don't get. If you're saying he's balanced, but he's definitely a people's man on the left-hand side of things. And if you say Corbyn is the real leftist, Corbyn got his ideas from Bernie, and he said that publicly in an interview with Naomi Klein. So
don't. Sorry.
But what?
Don't get it wrong. There are many points which Bernie stands for, which we here in Germany or Europe don't have to fight for anymore. Look at universal health care and so on. You know, this of course is for the Americans is a left position. You know, you cannot compare politics and with USA and Europe or Germany. You know.
All right. So until we hear Bernie talk about universal basic income, he's centrist. That's what you're telling me.
No. Did he mention the basic income?
No, he hasn't. He hasn't gone there. But that's all right. We're gonna move on because of what time it is, and I keep forgetting to mention this. I talked about next door. Riverside's my neighborhood. Next door, whatever your neighborhood is, online. This is the other thing. Right? I'm gonna force myself to go to this thing. I don't like going to big public things, being out around people, but this is August 9th. This is at River Park. This is the potluck picnic and pie auction for Linn County Democrats. Right? And if your Democratic Party or Green Party or Republican Party or Independent Party or whatever damn party you like is doing something like this summer in your town, in your neighborhood, go. Get involved. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to sign up for anything. You don't have to bring anything, but just go and talk to some people. Because we need to get to know our neighbors. And so I'm going to go to this. I'll probably shoot some video. Maybe I'll go live for a minute. Probably not. I might even make a pie. I don't know. Maybe I'll donate some jam or something to the thing. You know, but you know, that's got to do that stuff. Do I want to spend a lot of time standing in a whole bunch of people? No. Right? But I'm going to go spend some time because we need to get to know our neighbors. We got to do that. We got to stop being so siloed as a species. Right? So do that. That's just that.
Back to community.
Yes. Yes. I'm trying to skip ahead here to a few other things. Actually, and give me a second. I got to look at my list. So Bernie and Nina Turner, there was an article in there from The Hill. Nina Turner saying a lot of the same things that Bernie was saying in that nice video, that we're not done. We have a lot more work to do. Keep going. Right? And she's running our revolution now. So we see some great things out of that. And she's doing her show, right? The Nina Show, which is on Real News. We caught blurbs that. She's done some good interviews. She had Portia Bolger on, which is really cool. She was our original We the Peeps. Right? Yep. That was really cool. Plum pie. Okay. I've never, I got plenty of plums to do that with. Blackberry pie. I got black. I'm
black currant?
Oh, I wish. So we eat currant. I made currant jam, which is insane. But we have we have like 3 currant bushes, but we got like a cup of currant berries this year. So got to wait for them to grow bigger because it takes a lot more currants to make. But what's amazing about these different fruits, just to totally go off on something like this, because I'm learning about this making jams, right? you make a strawberry jam, you need to use pectin, which is what you get in the store, because strawberry naturally doesn't have a lot of pectin, which is what makes it thick, right? With jam thick. Plums have their own pectin, so you don't need to use any additional, and you can tell it's all gooey and everything. But currants are like freaking super glue. Holy shit! Currants have more pectin in them than plums, and like you do a reduction basically. It's sugar, water, fruit, and reduce until fruit is macerated, and I should show you what jam looks like, and it's like a really thick jam. The currant I could turn completely upside down. It won't go anywhere. It's gonna sit there forever. That's how thick it is. It's like, whoa. I could have stopped on the reduction a little bit earlier. Probably. Just amazing to learn this, though, about the different fruit, working with the fruits that I have available. I'm purposefully watering a blackberry hedge. My neighbor cuts them all down. I'm like, yeah, but I want these blackberries. I want to eat these. They're a scourge in Oregon. Blackberries everywhere. There's people that just... What?
Sorry, they're great for keeping neighbors out when they go out.
No, oh, yeah, she's right. There's an Oregon penitentiary, state pen, that is next to the Edgefield, which is a resort up in, I don't even know where it is. Anyway, the penitentiary was basically an octagon surrounded by blackberries. They used blackberries as a natural barrier because you ain't getting through them. You'll die. You try to run through blackberry hedge, you die. It'll kill you. It's just horrific. Yeah, Melissa H says currents. Hey, Mr. Aeneas, how are you? Hey, Jupiter. Joanne, how are you? You can use honey with pomona pectin also. Yeah, I've been thinking about trying to use honey with that. Anyway, I'm having a fun time making jam because it's a great way to preserves, what the fruit that I have here. I mean, makes sense, right?
John's jam session.
That's
cool.
Right, jam sessions with John. That would be so fun. But that's another music show, right? We'd play like songs related to like strawberry fields, strawberry jam.
What's doing your jam? Yeah.
I thought you called it jelly in the States.
No, there's jam, jelly. There's jams and jelly. A jelly is no pieces of the fruit. It's just juice.
Okay.
Jam would be with pieces of the fruit. Preserves would be thick pieces of the fruit. It's just basically fruit and sugar, and there you go. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. So Janine Calkin. We all remember Janine, right?
Yep.
Burning TV founder, moved on to become a big old important state senator for Rhode Island. So she's been watching what's going on there, and this is just one of those interesting things that I think most of us wouldn't have even noticed or cared about. I thought there's a bill urged to this is their governor Armando urged to veto bill that pits police against patient privacy. Some attorney guy pushing through this legislation, trying to get it through, that basically says police can look up patient background history without a warrant. I don't know why. I don't know why you would think that would be valuable other than to give police more power that they don't need. But these are the kind of little pieces of legislation that if we're not watching our reps, if we're not paying attention, it would be so easy for somebody to slip them a few bucks and have them pass this on through. And it's a good thing we have reps that actually have some morals and ethics like Janine in there to go, wait a minute. And there's a bunch of others too, don't get me wrong. But this is one little interest group with a little power, gets some legislation written, shoves it in there, and is like, can I grease enough palms to get it through, right? We have to be the watchers, and we have to hire people that are being the watchers, and we have to watch the watchers. That's what this is all about, because everybody is in line to be corrupted.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and in England, apparently they've been doing for the last few years, getting little changes through like that, through the back door, and people that weren't paying attention didn't see, and now legislation is far more corporate friendly.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly
Same here in Germany.
What?
Yeah, probably everywhere.
Yeah.
So there's several climate articles that are dropped in there. One talking about Tasmanian Ocean and how their fisheries are being devastated by the rising temperatures. Tasmania, the ocean, that area, is one of the most significantly damaged by climate change right now. They're experiencing higher ocean temps than many other places in the world. Why it's concentrating down there, we don't know, but it's already devastated their oysters and other fisheries because they can't handle temperatures that high. Right, so just another instance of global food supplies being cut short. I don't know how many articles I've talked about in this year alone about different food supplies being devastated or shortened or hindered or whatnot. I mean, champagne in France, Vermont syrup. Who knows? Yeah, what did you say, Dennis?
John, Tasmania, Australia. We don't have to don't forget the Great Barrier Reef.
Oh yeah, of course.
What they're doing at the moment with building a haven for coal shipping and so on.
Yes.
And guys, this is something, an ecosystem we have to preserve, because it's not only to looking nice and so on to there, because it's supplying and it's supplying us with oxygen and so on also, and there's an area for all this fish and this nature and so on. So don't forget about Mother Nature.
We have not. I haven't done a Great Barrier Reef show in a while, but I have interviewed several people from Australia on it. We've talked about it significantly, and you know where it's heading. It's while we're screaming, at the same time that the Australian government is screaming about protecting the barrier reef because they know that's what the people want to hear, they have no problem with shipping running in and out of the Great Barrier Reef for coal and whatnot, which is that doesn't make any sense. That's a conflict of interest, right? That's no cognitive dissonance right there. So I don't understand how you're going to protect the reef and allow big ships to run through it and fuck it all up at the same time. I don't get that. And that's what Dennis is talking about. Something I forgot to mention, guys, an example of politicians that need to be removed and the kind of politicians we have to look for that could happen to anybody we elect, right? Any of the people we talk to could find themselves in a position where they don't remember who they work for and they want to take privilege. And remember the asshole who beat up a reporter right before he took office? Greg Gianforte? He's refusing to be fingerprinted and go down to the detention place he's supposed to because he was charged with fucking assault. And he got off easy, but he's just not interested in getting fingerprinted because he's above all that. That's the kind of asshole we got to get rid of right there. I hope that we get rid of him in the next election, whatever it is. What a piece of shit.
He and Christie could be brothers, in my opinion.
Oh, I have a Christie article. Thank you for reminding me.
Oh, good.
If I can find it, I do. Christie was booed catching a foul ball.
Oh, poor boy.
Yeah. Where is it? Here it is. Here it is. I had to find it. Christie abused after catching foul ball at Mets game. Oh, your poor baby. That's so sad. Here, you want to hear it? It's kind of funny.
"3-2 he's popped up. Rivera giving a look at it. And a souvenir for Chris Christie. Are you kidding me?
How about that? You just noticed him. Boy, you hot, I'll tell you. You just noticed him between innings, and what do you know? He gets a ball.
Yeah, it's too bad it didn't just beat him in the fucking head.
Yeah.
Chris Christie. You know, worried about sacks of drugs. I'm glad he goes to baseball games. It's more of a chance for him to get clocked. Although he was paying attention and caught that. What an asshole. And I'm glad he got booed. The total says there was about 40,000 people booing. That's like that.
John, imagine the headlines in the news. Chris Christie hit by a baseball, but his fat prevented any further damage.
Yeah. Nice. I think, but the fans would prevent anybody from letting him recover. Moving on to science and climate. Did I hit my? Hang on. No, we talked about the reef. California. California is expanding their cap and trade, or extending their cap and trade, because Jerry Brown wanted that, and it's one of his climate forward things, and it's a good thing. It's just not enough, because Jerry knows how to play the game and keep the fracking industry rolling while he pretends to be about the environment. And that's one of the other things we have to look at is these Dems that are like, oh yeah, environment, and in the meantime they're taking a lot of money from the fracking industry to keep it alive. So just want to talk about that. This bothered me a lot. I you know, it makes me embarrassed for humanity. But I love the woman's response. We're just going to watch this. This is a scientist who was made fun of on the internet because she doesn't look like all the other meteorologists with bobbleheads and big boobs and a skirt.
Aunque la gente no me lo crea, me causó gracia. La mujer no es físico, ¿verdad? La mujer es mente, corazón. Mi carrera me costó 20 años. Tengo todos los niveles en meteorología. He ido al centro de huracanes, he estado en el centro de la NOAA. En los años 90 tuve la oportunidad de colaborar en el proyecto para integrar a la mujer a las instituciones públicas, que puedan tener cargos y también salarios equitativos. Yo soy Sandra Yanira.
There you go. Good for her.
What a crazy idea to send a meteorologist into a show about weather, and not using big boobed girls who just can read the teleprompter. Right?
I know. Not thinking of ratings. I don't know what they're doing. Not thinking of ratings. Who is that? I just want to back up. Mark Hill, you said, John, tell the people Chris Christie is being challenged by a true progressive. Who is that? Who is challenging Chris Christie? Are we interviewing this person yet? Who is this person? Tell me.
Oh yeah.
I can't keep track of all the people, but I would love to talk to the person that's challenging Chris Christie. I'd love to talk to them, help them anyway. We can do a fundraiser. Whatever we need to do. And you guys realize that I have personal stake there because I have relatives that are in Jersey. My grandma lived in Jersey all her life, basically. You know, a lot of my mom's family's from Jersey, and Chris Christie's just an asshole. He's got the Jersey attitude the wrong way. There's a good way to have a Jersey attitude, and there's a bad way to have a Jersey attitude. And he's got the bad way Jersey attitude. All right. Jim Keedy is challenging Chris Christie. Great. Yeah. Let's find out who the hell he is.
He's very good.
You've heard him? You've seen him?
He was interviewed on, he was interviewed on TYT, was it? No, Jimmy Dore maybe.
Oh.
Recently.
Jimmy already got him.
He's very good. He's very good.
I'm sure after doing Jimmy Dore, he'd love to come on down and talk to the 400 of us. we might be moving up to the 400. It might no longer be the 3. I think we've got new view. We're all the way up to the 400 now. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate that. I really do. And please share the videos that Scott has put up, the short videos and the clips from the Iowa event. Which, by the way, the people who ran the show, the Iowa CCI event coordinators and everything going on with there, they were thrilled with our work. If any of you are watching, hi, thank you. I'm glad you were really excited about our work. We're embarrassed about the whole live stream ending in the middle of Bernie. However, Scott thinks they didn't see that. So he's like, I don't know if she saw that. Otherwise, they're very happy. So we just know that they're happy.
Don't talk about it.
I know. Well, because we're honest. We sent them a note. We're like, this happened. We're sorry. But what you got to understand is the the bulk of the live stream, it's both pieces are there, but they got what they wanted out of it. And at the event, nothing was broken. So that was the important part. The event proper, nothing broke and was beautiful, and that was mostly because of their work. But it was really exciting to do that. Melissa, I know I've interviewed several people who have been on Jimmy D. We all interview the same people. We try to all interview the same people. I just know that once you've been on, we try to get them first so that they move up. It's like be such a bummer to be like, it'd be like going to Disney World and then hitting the Enchanted Forest on I-5 on your way to Portland. Look that one up. It's anyway. I love having the guests here. The ones that will show, the ones that will come on the show. I love it because it tells me that they're comfortable enough with themselves to come on a show that's not going to be prim and proper, that's not going to be all politically correct, that's not going to just stick to the simple questions, although it's not like I've been tough, but
that's where you're doing these interviews and so on. This kind of format is what the people are looking for, because they are sick and tired of MSM style interviews.
Yes.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah, and therefore they're watching your interviews and all the other progressive outlets and so on, because they don't do this schema scheme A to Z. That's why they get so much views. And someone in the chat said it. They see your 30,000 subscriptions.
Well,
and after that,
I know it's a big selling point. They're like, "Wow, he's got a big channel, all those views." It depends. But I'd love to, that's another point though. Thank you, and you're right. We do have 13,000, whatever. But as we interview more of these people, and as this grows, which it is growing. Things are moving and happening, but I'm not going to get into it because you know how many times I've talked about that crap. Anyway, things are moving and shaking. But what I want to do is bring these once they become comfortable with our system, right? Like everybody that's been on before, now they know what it's like, and they can come on again and they can have that conversation. They know how we do this thing, right? So we can bring these people, like Tom Fegan comes on whenever. We can book him, right? Is that as Bernie does more rallies, as we get closer to the midterms, and as Bernie's like the big seller. When I do a Bernie event, I get thousands and thousands of views, right? Because people are like Bernie Sanders. So what I want to do is what the GOP does, what other people do, what the DNC tries to do, is bring my guests on, our progressive candidates onto the show, so that they can get the views, get the airtime while everybody's coming to watch rock star Bernie Sanders, right? That's my goal. And you guys have been helping grow the channel. Like I said, we've moved beyond the 300. We're into the 400 now. We're like huge. Cool. So thank you. It's really working. And yeah, thank you, Dennis. And I will, Laura Leibengood is booking more and more people, but I will add on additional things if we need to sooner to talk to anybody. So anyway, it's just really cool. MSM doesn't drop any F-bombs either. I know. They suck. And it's like either that or you have to go to cable. Not that that's bad, right? John Oliver does great work. And I don't watch Colbert anymore. I'm sad about Colbert.
No.
All right.
Yeah, very sad.
We got like 5 minutes. No one, you don't watch him either, Katie?
No, it does bother me because I think that, well, he was never a Hillary fan, but he had to put it on. He was Joe Biden.
Are you kidding?
Joe Biden.
All right.
That's what I think. Joe Biden, he was, and then he sort of, he went along with it, but I think it's sad that he did.
He shilled for Hill big time when he did, in my opinion. He did. He pseudo felt the burn. I don't know. He's trying to play both sides.
Yes,
I think
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
You remember what I was talking about, right? When he had the cup and he brought Bernie out. It was a good interview. He was nice, but he pushed Hillary in the end. And he did some things that pissed me off, even though I didn't find Jill Stein to be a strong candidate. I just found her to be a good candidate as an alternative to Hillary Clinton in the terms of climate. But Stephen Colbert did a lot to discredit her, and I was like, really?
And
That's
John Oliver as well.
What? Yeah. What about what?
John Oliver as well. He ran one segment about Bernie Sanders, which was absolutely not correct.
Yeah.
Right.
He doesn't.
Right.
He doesn't lie, John Oliver. What he does is he reduces them to a very minor role in his monologue, and he sort of puts somebody who's laughable beside them, and kind of throws an offhand comment in there about them, but without ever saying anything that's serious.
Right.
And then it just, he doesn't lie, but.
Yeah. Anyway, move.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I just want. Yeah. We didn't talk about it. We got 5 minutes. I got to get into these sciencey things. There's a really cool thing I want to show you. And hi everybody. We got a lot of people having a good conversation. Hey, Invictus, Sandy. Sandy gets great views on Facebook when she does her climate stuff. And Paul Beckwith, been looking at his stuff. He's been talking about that. I want to have him on to talk specifically about that doomsday article with New York. But that's you, Sandy's going to have him on after you get everything taken care of with your husband who had in the accident. And I know there's a GoFundMe for that. If you want to get the link and we can drop it in, that would be great. And yeah, so that's the climate show is going to happen. It's just delayed. And I'm glad Sandy's picking that up. And maybe we can get the climate mobilization back involved. I saw you mention that up there, Bev. So anyway, I got to show you this. This made me, we're going to be just a tad late, but I got to show you this. There's a lot of things in this that made me think. This is a really cool way to do something different with soda bottles. It's a soda bottle peeler. And it's like brilliant. All right, so it goes on and on and on. But basically, that saves a lot of space. It's a handheld tool. It's for 2-liter plastic bottles, and that's where that's the other thing that I caught there. I mean, it does all plastic, whatever they can do with small soda cans. But they're showing 2-liter plastic bottles, and I don't know about you guys in America growing up, especially in the 80s, 90s. I don't know how they're doing it today. 2-liter bottles of soda. If you had a lot of kids or you have a party, you bought a 2-liter bottle of soda. The only measurement that Americans know in the metric system is that. I was thinking about that. I was like, how did we all learn what 2 liters looks like? It's because they sold it to us in sodas, and we bought a fuckload of it as Americans, and then they sent us to the dentist, right? So all we need to do is convince companies to start putting quantities in metric and start getting rid of it, and then America will know how much does that weigh? Oh, that's this much in metric because that's what I see, because we are a consumer society. I learned what 2-liter volume liquid it looks like because I know what it looks like because I bought a shit ton of it for myself and my kids, right? That's like, how do we teach? How do we, and then start putting other languages on there and we'll learn really fast. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting. Like, why do I know what 2 liters looks like? Because it was shoved into my head through soda. That's why. Anyway, 25% of the homes in Australia are already running on renewable energy. Not that they have a lot of homes, but I mean, that's pretty impressive. And with Tesla, with Elon Musk, I'm just going to fucking call him Tesla. I don't really care anymore. With Elon Musk dropping the battery system there in South Australia and fixing their energy problem, that's going to add a lot more. Australia working their way really fast towards 100% renewables because they are, along with Tasmania, right around there, bigly affected by climate change. Thought that was
but
really
don't
cool.
forget big business in coal.
Right, but they're trying to change that and that's the big fight that they have right now, Dennis, is that that was the big battle. That's what the corrupt Australian PMs, we ran a piece on that last week or something, where they're oh no, it won't work and blah blah blah, and Tesla's like, yeah, or Elon Musk is like, yes, it will. Let's come in and fix that for you, and so you can stop pushing your coal. All right, the coal exports is part of the problem there. This is my favorite story though today. I haven't actually watched the clip. I'm going to have fun watching this clip with you guys, but this is my favorite story because Chad Lupke's dropped this off. I don't know if what Chad says the actual quote is true for NASA's response. Just guess what NASA's response would be at this, because I really wish I know we have bigger issues, but why not? Why not fund it? Put it under the military. Just go. Why not? Let's hear. GOP rep asks NASA panel if there were ancient civilizations on Mars.
Last thought. I would hope that, again, I think the moon is close by, and whatever we can actually get a benefit out of going back there, we should, before you take the next step. However, the most important thing was if Mars, can I ask permission for 1 minute for this question? And that is, you have indicated that Mars was totally different thousands of years ago. Is it possible that there was a civilization on Mars thousands of years ago?
So the evidence is that Mars was different billions of years ago, not thousands of years ago.
Well, yes.
And there is no evidence that I'm aware of that.
Would you rule that out? That see, there's some people. Well, anyway.
I would say that is extremely unlikely.
Okay. Well, thank you all. Thank you, Mr. President. Thanks for the good job you're doing. God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Rohrbacher. Looking forward to finding out what's up there. That's for sure.
Is this not the same? I mean, first of all, isn't that the same guy that just got busted in the Russian thing? I think his name is the same name. God bless Republicans. I don't believe in God, but God bless Republicans, because how cute is that? The moon is close by. We know the moon's close by. Moon's close by. and Mars might have had life on it. Civilizations even a couple thousand years ago. Because he can't grasp time beyond that. He can't grasp geologic time. He doesn't even know what geologic time means. Oh. Why is education important in your nation? Because of that.
Yes.
Because of that. I will tell you this. Something I didn't, the article I didn't load, I was going to load for tomorrow.
This question could be not coming from a third or fourth grader, you know?
Yes. just an amazing. It's just such a cute question. That's a question like your kid would ask.
Yeah.
Like, is the moon made of cheese?
Inside of him.
What, Katie?
It's the little boy inside of him still wondering, still wanting to know.
Right, but I want to know too. And Chad Lupke's title on this in Facebook this morning was NASA's response, "We don't know. Why don't you fund a mission to go find out?" Because hey, why not? Why don't we? Trump's already said we're going to go to Mars, but mainly because he wants to rape it for resources. But there could be ancient civilizations, and then Georgios would be great to be all over that. Giorgio and ancient aliens. I want to know too. I mean, I want to save our planet and stop people from dying every day and stop bombing the fuck out of humans and stop having cops murder our citizens. But let's focus on going to Mars and finding out if there's ancient aliens too.
We are doomed.
What, Dennis?
Sorry, guys, I can't laugh about it. And we are doomed. When I see or hear something like that, I lose my faith in the human race. Yeah.
Really?
Sorry, guys, but yeah.
Oh, well.
I hate idiocy and so on. So, I am over the point to laugh about it. You guys know that, but yeah.
All right. Well, we're not going to we're not going to spend time being too bummed about it because we have to end the show, Dennis. But you can rant about it tomorrow if you want. All right.
David Bowie already knew about life on Mars.
He did. And I like Michael Stapleton. Mars is flat. The Flat Mars Society. we're gonna go there too, because the fact that the Flat Earth Society exists is
this is complete bullshit. Everyone knows that only the moon is flat. Damn it.
And made of cheese. And it's all right. So anyway,
and men of cheese, of course.
The GOP. I mean, God bless them. Just what I was going to tell you, ray of hope. The GOP says the damnedest things. That's it's like Florida, right? Florida, GOP, right? Only in the GOP. Now, oh, stop calling me, people. I could have muted my phone, I suppose. What was I going to say? Lamar Smith, Rep. Lamar Smith, who's in charge of the Space Science Technology Committee in our federal government, and he doesn't believe in climate change or space or science or any of those things. He actually took a trip to the Arctic to look at things. He's going to tour the melting landscape around our installations that were designed to be permanently frozen in that landscape. I don't know who got him to go up there. I don't know why he's really going up there. And maybe he wants to bring some snowballs back, but he's going up there. That's hope, everybody. Maybe he'll come back down like, everybody, I went to the North Pole. I didn't find Santa, and things look bad. Things look bad. That would be Lamar's report. Lamar's report. Total Recall. You guys are mentioning Total Recall. Wouldn't that be cool, though? We get to Mars. We find this ancient civilization. We hit a button. It's terraformed. Okay. I'm on with that, too. Simple solutions. Whatever works. Whatever works. Markus picked the outgoing tune today, and it's good. Tell us about it, Markus.
Yeah, today's outro song is coming from Jimmy Cliff, and I think most of you guys know Jimmy Cliff. He is one of the guys what reggae and ska concerns, and he became very popular in the 70s, and he was the main actor in a famous movie about reggae, The Harder They Come, which brought the idea and the music of reggae. He made it more and more popular in Europe, etc. And I chose Many Rivers to Cross because I think it fits perfectly to what we all as humans and as inhabitants of this world have to. We have to cross many rivers to get finally to what we are reaching for and what we want, and we have to hurry up because we know the rivers are rising. And,
there you go.
Yeah, and I hope you like the song. It's a live version, and I think it's very good. And yeah, don't forget to tune in later today when we have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez here, and me and John. And Dennis, I don't know, will you be around?
Yeah, that's why I'm going right into my bed and sleep, so that I'm awake later.
That's a very good plan. I don't. Yeah, and we'll see us on Friday, I guess. Today is Wednesday.
Friday.
Yeah, I'm starting to go like John. Yesterday is Wednesday, and on Friday will be our next show, our next Awake, and with John, with Markus, with Dennis, and
yeah.
See
you all on Friday then.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for being here, spending your time. Appreciate it. All right, everybody. Join us tonight. Do what you can on the ground. We'll see you on Friday.
Many rivers to cross, but I can't seem to find my way over. Wandering, I've been lost as I traveled along the white cliffs of Dover. Many rivers to cross, and it's only my will that kept me alive. I've been licked, washed up for years, and I merely survived because of my pride. And the loneliness will not leave me alone. Such a dread to be on your own. My woman left and she didn't say why. Well, I guess I had to cry. Many rivers I've crossed, and it's only my will kept me alive. There've been times I found myself thinking of committing some dreadful crime. Many rivers I've crossed, it was so hard to find my way over. Wandering I've been lost as I traveled along white cliffs of Dover. But I know I got it now, you see that love is my foundation, wisdom is my capital, struggle is my manner, and truth is my redeemer. Sorrow is my companion, love is my foundation, true love is my foundation. Hey, oh, ah. Many rivers I've crossed, and it's been so hard to find my way over. Wandering I've been lost as I travel along the white cliffs of Dover.